Welcome to Toy Hill Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. I'm going to do another demonstration painting. This time I've decided to do something that is probably going to take a long time, so most of it will probably be done off camera. But what I want to do is a real expressive version of Tenebrism. Tenebrism is a beautiful light effect that was real popular in the 17th century in Baroque art, where you've got one side of the face fairly light, and then the other side is quite dark. This is used a lot in movies too. If you've ever seen a lot of dramatic, scary movies, they love to do this, where they've got this tenebristic effect. And I'm not going to at all stick to natural color or anything. Just going to really play around with this effect. It's not normally done this way. It's normally done in a realistic way. But I am going to just really play with it in a expressionistic way and see what happens. I don't know if I've ever really done this before, but it should be interesting. If you're familiar with art history, then you know about Tenebrism. You've seen it in the work of Rembrandt and a lot of other great artists. One artist you may not be familiar with of the 17th century who is really good at this is Michelangelo da Caravaggio. Everybody's familiar with Michelangelo, but not everybody's familiar with Michelangelo da Caravaggio, who was a fascinating Baroque artist and also quite a scamp. He was just a real energetic person, a real flamboyant person, and one time he was in a tennis match with somebody. He got so angry that he actually killed the guy. And so he had to just get out of there and just go escape and hide from the law, which he did. He escaped to an island. Don't remember the name now. It's been a while since I've taught this sort of thing. I did teach at Radford University for 20 years. It's been a while. But he stayed there for a while, and then, because he was a famous artist when this did happen, such a famous artist that the Pope decided to just say, oh, just pardon the guy. So he was on his way back when he became quite ill and died on his way back from the island. Well, this is kind of interesting. Not what I planned on. These demos, they never are. I'm always fighting with time. But just see what happens. Trying to just make this very expressive, but I do want to try to get that tenebristic effect in a very coloristic, expressionistic way. And we'll just see what happens. Like I said, I probably think a lot of this is going to be done off camera. I've got to really watch that clock because I don't want to go more than what the clock is capable of. I would rather do it off camera. Don't like going on and on and on and on. I still haven't done one of those fast ones. I've seen so many of those, and not that they're bad or anything, but I think it's more interesting to listen to an artist talk. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I think it's real interesting to listen to artists talk about what they do and try to get you into what makes their artwork unique and what they like to do. As I've said before, I am into many, many different kinds of artwork. And my main artwork is artwork of the Blue Ridge. Lived here my adult life, and my husband has just taken me to all these gorgeous places that he tries real hard to protect by trying to get people really interested in conservation. But I also like to do a lot of other things. I'm really kind of concerned about how I'm going to get this tenebristic effect. So I'm going to start getting into that, where this side of the face is going to be dark. Still modeled though, and that's why a lot of this is going to be done off camera, because you still have to model the face. I know that might sound kind of strange, but that's the term for getting all these different curves properly into a face. So it's going to definitely take some time to get this right and to get the effect I want. So far it doesn't look very tenebristic, but then I haven't just started. I've always liked the way a person looks when they're looking down. I don't know why, I just do. And that's why I chose this pose here, so that you can just see that kind of modeling, which I think is just always very beautiful. And I don't know, this might work out pretty well. As I said, I never know with these demo ones. I'm just kind of trying different things and seeing what happens. And they do take quite some time, so I am really mindful of that. Okay, now I want to really get on the other side so you can start to see what I'm trying to get at. This real dramatic change of lighting in a coloristic way, which is a different way of doing it. As I said, it's normally done in a natural way. They're just wonderful paintings by Rembrandt and others with this wonderful lighting effect. Getting back to Caravaggio, who did some fascinating things, and as I said, he was quite a character, got into a lot of trouble, and it's terrible that he had that horrible fight and then actually killed somebody over it. But he did a painting that everyone should look up, because I just think it's a fascinating comment on how we've changed and how we view things. It's called The Calling of St. Matthew. And in that painting, he has everybody in that painting in typical Elizabethan costume, the way people dressed. And here, Jesus is coming in, calling St. Matthew in what he would have worn during his time period. Okay, if you look at that, anybody looks at it, they say, oh, okay, that's interesting, religious painting. And they would not have any idea that that painting was a huge scandal during when it was painted. And the reason it was a huge scandal is Caravaggio was putting Jesus on the same platform, the same standing as anybody else, as people that worshipped him. He was just there, coming in. It would be like if you make a painting now of Jesus coming in and everybody's wearing blue jeans. Now, nobody would look at that and say, so what? No one would look at it and say, why? Why did he do that? We would have no problem with that. Okay, putting Jesus on the same level as everyone else in the 17th century, at the time of the Reformation, was not good. You were supposed to have God way up in the clouds, far away. You had to have a priest to get to him. He didn't walk in on you while you're sitting at a table and ask you to join his ministry. That was not the way he was presented. Yeah, I'm real pleased that I don't know how this is going to look real good on the camera, but I'm actually pleased that I'm getting pretty good modeling without working real hard at it. It's just kind of coming along. I know it just is a beginning stage, but it is coming along. Now, I'm not sure if I really want to get the outer area real dark. I think I'm going to have that kind of light, because I want that to relate over to where the neck is going to be. Well, the neck is. For a pattern. I know that may sound really strange, but art is really an arrangement, no matter where it comes from. And the arrangement that I have in this space here isn't going to work real well if I don't have something over here that relates back over there. It's just going to look kind of funny, design-wise. As I always told students, and I still think this very much, all art is design, all design is art, regardless of where the idea comes from. Get some green on here. Like I said, I'm trying to make this very, very expressive. And I'm real pleased, because acrylics don't model that well. They are a water media and dries right when you put it down practically. So I'm pleased that I'm able to get a lot of modeling. I'm hoping that's the way it looks there. That's the way I'm seeing it. And I've noticed that you don't really get exactly what you're seeing with these. And the colors will definitely be a little faded out. I'm a little worried about getting into the mouth area, but the time is moving on, so I want to get moving that, because that's really tricky. I think I'll get a smaller brush. The modeling there will be very, very hard. And probably just stick with more of a natural color for that. But I'll see if I can get that in so that it looks reasonable at this point. Oh boy, that's really natural. Had a lot of green there. Didn't realize. Somehow that green got into my red. Oh well. Try again here. But there, that's better. And with the bottom lip, and then I'm going to have to do some, going a whole lot more back into that to get it to look natural. And like I said, I'm going to do a lot of this off camera. But I wanted to get a lot of it done here and then go back into it. I am getting the look of looking down. I am getting a weird coloristic tenebrism, which is what I wanted. So this one has turned out pretty good. As I said before, don't know who's watching it, so yeah, I do repeat myself. I repeat myself for a number of reasons. Not real young. That's one of the main one. And the other one is that I could have different viewers each time, and there's certain things I always want people to hear. And now I forgot what I was trying to say. That's another thing about getting old. Oh well. Unless you do something about it, that's where we're all headed. So I believe that people should be very polite. It amazes me when people aren't real polite to people that have gotten up there in years. I just always thought, you gotta be kidding. You don't think you're gonna get old? Never have understood that. I just think that is just atrocious not to treat people with respect, regardless of their age, and to understand that things do change as you get older, and you do start to have some difficulties that you didn't have when you were younger. You got to really fight. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. I'm trying to keep that chiaroscuro. Don't want to do that. I'm getting close. Now, I think it's only been 10 minutes, but last time I thought it was only 10 minutes, I was 15. So I better get moving here, because I think after about 20, my camera says start bleeping, and then I'm done. So I'm not going to go a whole lot longer. I am going to go back into it, but I am pleased that I really think I got essentially a lot of what I wanted to get, and I'm going to make it stronger. Now I want to get back into when I was talking about the patterns, so I want to get some kind of greenish color right under here where the neck is going to be, because I want that to relate up here. And those of you who've taken any art, you know what I'm talking about, especially if you took any design. Art is a lot of patterns, a lot of systems. And the thing I always tried to explain to students when I taught is I would always show them very, very representational pieces and explain to them the patterns that are in them. And a lot of them really, really caught on to what I was saying, that it's not ever a matter of just copying something. There may be some artists that do that, but most artists, it is a matter of a creation of an arrangement. And I am real pleased, because I think this is close to done. It hasn't taken long, for the first stage. And I'm definitely going to change it, but I did actually get that chiaroscuro effect in a coloristic way. I got a lot of the modeling in the first stage with a medium that really fights you. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure there are a lot of acrylic painters that say you're crazy. It's a wonderful medium. Well, I'm just used to oils. I've always liked oils the best. It will always be my medium. And one of the reasons it was invented was because it didn't dry so fast. So you could really model things without the paint fighting you and drying. Getting rounded areas, what we're talking about when we say modeling. Getting all the different curves in a person's face. Okay, I think I might just quit there. I'm hoping this has showed up fairly well on camera. I hope you can see what it is. It started to be. It's got a lot of what I wanted, and then I'm just gonna bring it out more strongly, maybe a little bit more. It's always hard to stop on a painting, even the first stage. Most of my paintings are done in many stages, but my more expressive ones, not as many. Not as many as the ones of the Blue Ridge and portraits and things like that. I do commissions. Anybody's interested? Anybody's still listening? I think a lot of people quit after a while. I can understand that. Who has time to listen to a zillion videos all the way through? But anybody listening, I do commissions. Well, thank you for watching. Be sure to click on the link in the description to see the final painting, and there are a lot of other links to my artwork.